One of my roommates suddenly asked to change dorms, and when I asked her why, she just looked at me with a horrified expression. A few days later, several other roommates surprisingly asked to change dorms one after another. Part 1. Why are you changing rooms? Aren't we all getting along well? Hearing my voice, Lily's body trembled imperceptibly. She let out a dry laugh. Well, another room invited me. In contrast, when she talked to others, her body language was noticeably more relaxed. My heart sank. Lily, did I do something wrong that made you uncomfortable living here? Lily suddenly raised her head, looking at me with near terror, shaking her head vigorously. No, not at all. How could that be? Arya, don't overthink it. It has nothing to do with you. Lily moved out hurriedly that day. Don't you think it's strange? I asked. Why does Lily seem so afraid of me? My roommate Sage snapped. Don't mind her. She didn't even want to talk to us much, making it seem like we bullied her or something. Lily's the only one in our room with a different schedule from the three of us. We sleep at 9. She likes to stay up late. Other rooms all stay up late, so there's no early sleep issue. It's better that she moved out. Everyone will be more at ease, as Sage said. After Lily moved out, our room's schedule became more harmonious. Basically, by 9 p.m., when other rooms were still laughing and playing around, we had already cleaned up and were ready to turn off the lights and sleep. However, one day, our room leader Wendy suddenly asked me, Arya, what time did you come back last night? I was confused by her question. Didn't I come back right after dinner? Wendy said. I mean, when you left the room later, I was completely baffled. Later? I didn't. I went to sleep right after showering. You didn't go out after 9? Wendy's voice became strange. I didn't know why she was asking this, but I still answered, no, I've always been a good sleeper. I don't get up at night. I sleep straight through till morning. She didn't say anything else, but after asking me, she seemed distracted, stealing glances at me from time to time. Whenever I caught her gaze, she would immediately pretend to be busy. Her strange attitude made me uneasy. That night, I had trouble sleeping for once, had a nightmare, and woke up in a cold sweat. The room was pitch black. Suddenly, I saw Wendy standing on the ladder of my bed, half of her body inside my mosquito net. The expression on her face was strangely exaggerated, staring at me in terror. We both screamed at the same time, followed by a loud crash. She fell off my bed onto the floor. Sage and I rushed Wendy to the hospital in the middle of the night. The doctor examined her and said, it's not serious, just a sprained leg, we'll set it right and it'll be fine. However, Wendy insisted that the doctor give her a CT scan to thoroughly check her brain. I asked Wendy, what were you doing sneaking up to my bed in the middle of the night? She avoided the question, not answering directly. The day she returned from the hospital, Wendy secretly went to the counselor to apply for a room change. The counselor called Sage and me for a talk. Arya, she hinted meaningfully, don't focus so much on scholarships that you neglect getting along with other students. Dorm relationships also need to be carefully maintained. What do you mean? Sage heard the implication in the counselor's words and indignantly said, isn't Arya considerate enough? Knowing Lily's family condition wasn't good, she gave up her financial aid to Lily and worked hard for scholarships herself. What did she do wrong? If anyone's wrong, shouldn't we ask Wendy? Why did she climb onto Arya's bed in the middle of the night? Why doesn't she even give an explanation? Just because she fell and hurt herself? The counselor glared at Sage, as if too lazy to deal with her, and softened her tone to advise me, Arya, when one person applies to change rooms, it might be that person's issue, but when two people apply to change rooms, maybe we need to look for reasons within ourselves. Do you understand what I mean? Counselor, I asked directly, are they changing rooms because of me? They didn't say it explicitly. The counselor paused briefly, but when they mentioned you, their attitudes were consistently strange. I noticed the counselor's choice of words. She said strange. The series of events that had happened recently gave me the same feeling. I wanted to talk to Wendy and Lily, but they had blocked me, and the messages I sent showed glaring red exclamation marks. I tried to find them during class time. They always pretended to be chatting with others, deliberately ignoring my existence. Their attitudes extremely cold. After several attempts at friendliness were met with indifference, I had no choice but to give up. Sage's home was close to the school. She went home every weekend. Once she left, I was the only one in the room. At 9 p.m., as usual, I got ready to sleep. I don't know how long I slept, but the persistent ringing of my phone woke me up. I fumbled for my phone in a daze, saw it was 11 p.m., and the caller was Sage. You're something else. Arya. Sage's excited voice came from the other end of the line. Girl, I didn't expect you to be having such a good time behind my back. I was completely confused. What? Stop pretending. Sage sent me a Snapchat photo. I opened it, and my eyes widened, all traces of sleepiness gone. In the photo, the campus heartthrob and I were in an intimate embrace, in a pose that couldn't be more suggestive. I was lying in my dorm room right now. When did I hug the campus heartthrob? When did you take this photo? Coming to my senses, I immediately asked Sage. Just now. Arya, stop pretending. I saw you, Sage. I'm in the dorm. The girl you saw isn't me. How is that possible? Sage firmly refuted. It's you. The looks, hairstyle, clothes, shoes, bag, all exactly the same. I thought for a second. I'm on the phone with you right now. What about that girl? Is she also on the phone? Sage's voice faltered. She belatedly realized, oh yeah, she doesn't seem to be on the phone. Wait, let me go over and see who she really is. With that, the call ended. I anxiously waited for Sage to call back. After waiting for a long time with no response, I thought for a moment and decided to call her myself. The phone rang several times before it was answered. I opened my mouth to ask, Sage, did you find out anything? There was dead silence on the other end, and after a long while, I heard Sage stammer out a word. You. Her voice was trembling. After saying just one word, she abruptly hung up the phone. I could sense a flavor of fleeing in panic from it. I called back, but the call didn't connect. I sent messages asking, but there was no reply. That night, I was restless. Fortunately, the next day was Sunday, and I thought I could wait for Sage to return to school, but unexpectedly, I first received a call from the counselor. She was furious. Arya, did you not take what I said to heart? Didn't I just teach you last time that you need to carefully maintain dorm relationships? I had a bad feeling rising in my heart. Sure enough, the counselor's next sentence was, Sage came to my office today. She also wants to apply for a room change. Weren't you two getting along well? What's going on now? I rushed to the counselor's office. The counselor lectured me endlessly. Taking advantage of her exhaustion when she went to the bathroom, I secretly used her computer to send a message to Sage, Wendy, and Lily on Snapchat, notifying them that they needed to fill out a form for room changes and asking them to come to the office immediately. After sending the messages, I deleted the chat history and set their numbers to do not disturb to prevent the counselor from discovering my little trick. Having done all this, I ran downstairs to intercept them. I just want to know what exactly happened. Why are you all avoiding me? Faced with my questioning, they each turned their faces away, unwilling to answer. Sage glanced at me secretly. In our room, you and I were the closest. I don't know why you suddenly stopped answering my calls and messages when just the day before we were fine. Is it related to that girl? When they heard that girl, their expressions changed simultaneously. Can you tell me what exactly happened? I don't want to be the only one left in the dark. Please. My pleading gaze lingered on each of them, finally resting on Sage. Sage, I just want to know what happened. I lowered my voice as much as possible. Compassion flashed across Sage's face. She gritted her teeth as if throwing caution to the wind. Arya, do you know what I saw when I went after her that night?